Today, we profile Dr. Robert H. Schuller, the TV evangelist, the hour of power, the Crystal Cathedral, the possibility thinkers creed. He grew up on a farm in Alton, Iowa, the youngest of 5 children, without running water, and he longed to preach from his early days. He earned a Master of Divinity degree from Western Theological Society and was ordained as a minister in the Reformed Church in America. In 1950, he married the love of his life, Arvella DeHaan, and they were a terrific team for 63 years. He met his wife, Arvella, while preaching at her church. She was the organist. With their young family in tow, the Schullers caravaned west to California, where he rented a drive-in theater and preached from the roof of the snack bar. It was beneath the dignity of Christian ministry, some local pastors affirmed. The story of his ministry is the stuff of legend. Garden Grove Community Church began in 1955 when Schuller rented for $10 per week the Orange Drive-In Theater, a well-chosen site near the just-opened Disneyland. Drive-in theaters were the rave across the country then. "Come as you are in the family car" was an early Schuller slogan. Schuller preached from the tar paper rooftop of the snack bar while his wife, Arvella, played a portable organ. The offering the first week was $87. In 1958, he built a church that enabled Schuller to preach his sermons to worshipers in 500 cars, as well as to members of the congregation inside the church. Schuller sold a softer, gentler message, which borrowed heavily, he acknowledged, from the father of the feel-good gospel, Norman Vincent Peale. He preached not to convert or condemn people, but to encourage them, a sentiment he called possibility thinking. People loved it. He created the Possibility Thinkers Creed. When faced with a mountain, I will not quit. I will keep on striving until I climb over, find a pass through, tunnel underneath, or simply stay and turn the mountain into a gold mine with God's helping hand. In 1968, Dr. Schuller founded New Hope, the world's first live, church-sponsored 24-hour counseling and suicide prevention hotline. It was a pioneering ministry of mercy. Since its inception, it's estimated that over 5 million people dialed this hotline and received immediate counseling. In 1970, Dr. Schuller began broadcasting The Hour of Power, believed to be one of the first, if not the very first, Sunday service to be shown regularly on television. With his genial smile, priestly robes, and gray hair, he looked and talked like a guy who wanted nothing more than to see his flock succeed. The show, which ran for decades, reached millions, making Schuller a televangelist before the term became tarnished by the sins of many of his successors. The Garden Grove congregation continued to grow. When a larger building was needed, Reverend Schuller commissioned the renowned architect Philip Johnson to build a new building, all of glass, the Crystal Cathedral. After almost insurmountable difficulties, this 2,700-seat architectural marvel with 10,000 glass panels was dedicated in 1980. To the glory of man for the glory of God. For the next 30 years, 1 million people visited the cathedral annually for regular Sunday worship. for conferences, seminars, workshops, and for 2 annual pageants, the Glory of Christmas and the Glory of Easter. At the time that it was built, the church was touted as the largest glass building in the world. Once the newer, larger, and more noticeable Crystal Cathedral structure was completed, Schuller renamed his organization as the Crystal Cathedral Ministries. Schuller's Crystal Cathedral Church soon became the iconic backdrop from which he preached his popular Hour of Power broadcast every Sunday morning for the next 25 years. Typically wearing lavender and purple vestments and a broad smile, he became a Sunday morning fixture in countless homes. A kind-faced, white-haired pastor delivering sermons. It became the nation's most watched weekly religious program in the 1980s, seen by an estimated 30 million people on hundreds of stations
From the Crystal
in
Cathedral
180 countries.
in Garden Grove, California,
Dr. Schuller started every Hour of Power broadcast with, "Today is the day the Lord has made.
thousands of people
Let us
gather
rejoice
here for one of
and be
America's
glad
most
in it."
positive and inspirational worship services.
I watched him every Sunday for 15 plus years. He taught me so much. He taught me about the value of positive thinking and giving back. Perhaps the greatest sign of his popularity came in 1989, when the authorities in Moscow invited Dr. Schuller to speak in the Soviet Union's first religious telecast. He soon began taping a special monthly show for Soviet national television. He authored 30 books, including
is the day the Lord
Tough
has
Times
made.
Never
Let us
Last,
Rejoice,
but Tough People
and
Do.
be glad in it.
And Success is Never Ending. Failure is Never Final. He had a phenomenal number of books. A few. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Tough times never last, but tough people do. I'd rather attempt to do something great and fail than to attempt to do nothing and succeed. Turn your scars into stars. Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means you haven't succeeded yet. If you listen to your fears, you will die never knowing what a great person you might have been. Let your hopes, not your hurts, shape your future. Problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines. Anyone can count the seeds in an apple, but only God can count the number of apples in a seed. Always look at what you have left. Never look at what you have lost. Most people who succeed in the face of seemingly impossible conditions are people who simply don't know how to quit. Goals are not only absolutely necessary to motivate us, they are essential to really keep us alive. Very true. What appears to be the end of the road may simply be a bend in the road. Better to do something imperfectly than to do nothing perfectly. Today's accomplishments were yesterday's possibilities. In 2001, he wrote this for me. Faith, hope, love made my journey unbelievable. See it and seize it for yourself too. Reverend Schuller, November 2000. That's the story of Dr. Robert Schuller. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these messages of inspiration and hope, like, subscribe, and share them with family and friends. Until we meet again, please remember, with God, anything is possible